You've been quiet long enough. You've been waiting long enough. You've been small long enough. This is not the season for playing safe. This is not the year for average. This is not your time to shrink. This is the new mentality where excuses die and execution lives, where we don't wait for motivation, we move without it. You want change, change your patterns, change your thoughts, change your circle. Change your standards. You've been feeding your doubts like royalty and starving your potential like a stranger. But hear me, you are not here to survive. You are not here to repeat cycles. You are not here to be lukewarm. You are here to lead, to shake the ground you walk on, to become the one that generations will talk about. This is the new mentality. We rise while others sleep. We work while others wish. We build while others break. We believe when no one claps, and we keep showing up uninvited until they have no choice but to recognize our name. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to decide. Decide that the old you is gone. Decide that your limits are lies. Decide that you're ready to live a life that's on fire, not one that's on autopilot. This is your moment. This is your mirror. What are you going to do about it? Because the new mentality doesn't wait. It dominates. The era of waiting is over. You've waited long enough, waited for the right time, waited for the right mood, waited for the stars to align, for the fear to pass, for someone to validate your dream. But the truth is, the perfect moment is a myth. It doesn't exist. It never did. The world doesn't hand greatness to those who wait. It hands it to those who move, even when they're afraid, even when they're unprepared. Even when it feels like everything could fall apart, you keep telling yourself, tomorrow I'll start, next week I'll try, maybe when I feel ready. But readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You decide you're ready, you act, and then the confidence comes. You leap, and then the net appears. You think the ones who win were born with certainty. No, they were just done waiting. They started building while others were still doubting. They started creating while others were still hesitating. They knew that time doesn't wait for the perfect version of you to show up. Time keeps ticking, and every second you waste waiting, someone else is working. Someone else is growing, improving, executing, and eventually, they pass you by, not because they're more talented, not because they had more help, but because they moved. They understood something most people don't, that momentum is more powerful than motivation. That small steps are better than perfect plans. That doing something, anything, is better than sitting in fear, doing nothing. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving despite fear. It's not about feeling confident. It's about showing up anyway. Every excuse you're using is a brick in the wall that's blocking your future. Tear it down. Start now, not tomorrow, not later, now. Because the era of waiting is over. And if you don't act today, you'll wake up one day wishing you had. Excuses must die. They have lived long enough in your mind. They've whispered in your ear every time things got hard. They've convinced you to quit before you even started. They've dressed up as logic, masqueraded as good reasons, but all they really are lies, lies that keep you comfortable, lies that keep you small, lies that protect your ego while stealing your future. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They don't just slow you down, they stop you. They keep you in cycles. They trick you into believing that someday will magically arrive, but it won't. Someday is the graveyard of dreams. You keep saying, I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start when things settle down. But discipline doesn't care about how you feel. Execution doesn't wait for ideal conditions. Winners don't need perfect circumstances. They need focus. They need commitment. They need to show up whether the world claps for them or not. Discipline and execution, those are your new friends now. They won't comfort you, but they will change you. They won't give you excuses, they'll give you results. Discipline is doing it when it's hard. Execution is doing it when it's boring. Together, they turn goals into realities. Excuses, they just talk. Discipline, it moves. Excuses explain. Execution proves. You're not stuck because you lack potential. You're stuck because you've made excuses your identity. But that ends now. No more blaming your past. No more pointing fingers, no more waiting for someone to come save you. You save you change the story, you break the cycle, you silence the excuses once and for all. Because every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose action over explanation, you get one step closer to the life you were meant to live. And that version of you, the one who refuses to make excuses, they're not a fantasy. They're real and they're waiting on the other side of your excuses. Motivation is unreliable. It's the spark that gets you started, but it won't keep you going. It fades, it changes, it disappears the moment things get uncomfortable. You felt it before, that sudden surge of energy, that fire inside you after watching a video, after hearing a speech, after dreaming big for a few minutes. But then what? Monday comes, life hits. The fire goes out, and you're back at zero, waiting for the next wave of inspiration to carry you. That's not how success is built. Success isn't emotional. It's not based on mood. It's not about how hyped you feel. It's built on consistency. It's built on routine. It's built on doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Some days you'll feel powerful. Other days you'll feel empty. But discipline doesn't care. The mission doesn't care about your feelings. You have to move without motivation. You have to show up when it's boring, when it's tough, when it's silent. Motivation is a guest. It visits, then it leaves. But habits stay. Habits carry you when nothing else does. You can't wait to feel ready. You can't wait to feel like it. You have to build systems that work, so you don't have to rely on emotion. Because emotions lie. They'll tell you to stop when things get hard. They'll beg you to quit when results are slow. They'll whisper, "Take it easy," when everything in you knows it's time to go harder. If your success depends on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent. You'll always be starting over. You'll always be chasing that next dose of inspiration. But if your success depends on consistency, you'll win. Not overnight, but every day, brick by brick, step by step. So stop worshiping motivation. Start honoring commitment, because those who win, they didn't feel like it every day. They just did it anyway. Elevate your standards, because what you tolerate today becomes your reality tomorrow. Your life is a reflection of what you're willing to accept. Your habits, your thoughts, your circle, they all shape your future whether you realize it or not. If you want more, you have to become more. You can't live an extraordinary life with average standards. You can't chase big dreams with small habits. You can't rise while staying surrounded by people who are comfortable staying low. Look at your daily routine. Look at your environment. Look at your inner dialogue. Are they pulling you forward, or are they quietly keeping you stuck? The future you want is not built by luck. It's built by alignment. Your actions must match your ambitions. Your mindset must match your goals. Your surroundings must match your values. Stop saying you want discipline, then sleeping through your alarm. Stop saying you want growth, then avoiding discomfort. Stop saying you want change, but surrounding yourself with people who fear it. Your standards must rise higher than your excuses, higher than your distractions, higher than your past. It's not about being perfect. It's about demanding better from yourself every single day. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't born to settle. You weren't born to repeat cycles of mediocrity. You were built to break limits. But that only happens when you raise the bar, start holding yourself accountable, start catching the thoughts that don't serve you, start protecting your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. If you want to change your life, change your standards, refuse to tolerate laziness, refuse to entertain negativity, refuse to be average in a world where you were designed to be great. It won't be easy. It won't be convenient, but it will be worth it. Because once you raise your standards, your life has no choice but to rise with them. Stop feeding your doubts. You've been giving them too much attention, too much power, too much space in your mind. They've grown strong because you've believed them. You've watered them with worry. You've nurtured them with negative thoughts. You've let them speak louder than your dreams. But those doubts, they're not truth. They're not facts. They're fear in disguise, and fear is a liar. It tells you you're not ready. It tells you you're not enough. It tells you to stay safe, stay small, stay silent. But deep down, you know you were made for more. So stop feeding your fear. Start starving it. Don't give it another second of your energy. Don't give it another ounce of your belief. Don't let it sit at your table like it belongs there. Replace it with faith. Faith in your ability to grow. Faith in your power to overcome. Faith in the version of you that's already inside, waiting to be unleashed. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to believe that you can take the next step, and then take it. You've overcome so much already. You've survived storms that should have broken you. You've risen from places others would have stayed stuck. That wasn't luck, that was strength. That was *U*. So why doubt yourself now? Why keep listening to a voice that's never wanted you to grow? Silence it. Drown it out with action. Crush it with proof. Stack win after win until your doubt has no place left to hide, because faith grows the same way fear does, through repetition, through focus, through what you choose to feed. Start feeding your belief. Start feeding your resilience. Start feeding your future with the energy it deserves. You don't need more confidence. You need more courage. And courage begins when you stop feeding the fear and start feeding the fire. You are meant to lead, not to follow, not to blend in, not to fit inside a box someone else built for you. You were born to stand out, to rise above the noise, to become the one others look to when the path isn't clear. Leadership isn't about titles. It's not about applause. It's not about being the loudest in the room. It's about owning your voice, owning your vision, owning the responsibility to go first even when it's hard. You weren't created to play small. You weren't designed to play safe. You weren't put here to copy what everyone else is doing. You have a purpose. You have a message. You have a fire in your soul that this world needs. Stop trying to shrink to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for permission to be powerful. Stop acting like you don't matter when deep down you know you do. The world doesn't need more followers. It needs more leaders with heart, leaders with courage, leaders who are willing to show up real, raw, and ready to make a difference. And that starts with you. You lead by example, by effort, by energy. You lead by how you carry yourself in the dark, not just when the spotlight is on. You lead by how you handle pressure, how you bounce back from failure, how you stay grounded when success comes knocking. You lead when you choose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, purpose over popularity. Leadership means choosing the hard road when the easy one would be enough. It means raising your standards when no one else will. It means being the first to believe when everyone else doubts. You are meant to lead, not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to quit. Not because it's easy, but because the impact is worth it. Your life has the power to shift atmospheres, to lift others, to rewrite legacies, but only if you stop hiding, only if you rise, Only if you lead, the time is now, and the leader is you. Decisions shape destiny. Not dreams, not wishes, not luck. Decisions. One choice can change everything. One shift in mindset, one moment of clarity, one bold move when it would have been easier to stay still. You are one decision away from a new life. Not a perfect life, but a life of purpose, a life of growth, a life that reflects who you were always meant to be. It doesn't take 1,000 steps to change, it takes one step in a new direction. One commitment to think differently, one refusal to go back to who you used to be. Your mindset is the gatekeeper, the beliefs you carry. They either build your future or break it. They either open doors or shut them before you even try. But here's the truth: you can change what you believe. You can change what you focus on. You can change what you expect from yourself. And when you do that, you change everything. You don't need more time. You don't need a new year. You need a decision to stop being a prisoner of your past, a decision to stop letting fear drive your choices, a decision to take back control of your thoughts, your habits, your life. It won't happen by accident. It won't happen by hoping. It happens when you decide, when you say, "This ends with me. This begins with me. I am no longer waiting for permission to become who I was born to be." That's the power of a decision. It's a line in the sand. It's a before and after. It's a new chapter starting. Not someday, but now. The life you want is already waiting, but it won't come find you. You have to choose it. You have to walk toward it. You have to show the universe, "I'm ready now." So stop standing at the edge of your potential. Stop questioning if you're capable. Stop wondering what might happen. Decide who you are. Decide what you believe. Decide what you're becoming, because your destiny isn't written by chance. It's written by choice. Hard work outpaces talent. Every time, talent may give you a head start, but hard work will carry you to the finish line. Because talent means nothing if you're not willing to grind. Nothing if you're not willing to bleed for it. Nothing if you quit when it gets tough. The truth is, most people with talent waste it. They rely on natural ability, while others are building skill through repetition, through discipline, through relentless effort. You don't need to be the most gifted. You need to be the most committed. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to show up over and over, when it's hard, when it's boring, when nobody claps, when nobody notices. That's the difference. The ones who win aren't always the ones who start with the most. They're the ones who keep going when others stop. They're the ones who stay late, rise early, and push through the pain. They're the ones who put in the work no one sees, to create results everyone notices. Hard work is the great equalizer. It levels the field. It separates the dreamers from the doers. It turns average into unstoppable. You can't fake consistency. You can't cheat effort. You can't replace grind with excuses. If you want something extraordinary, you have to outwork the ordinary. You have to stop looking for shortcuts. Stop hoping for handouts. Stop waiting for everything to be easy. Because the truth is, success doesn't respond to how talented you are. It responds to how tough you are, how many times you get up after falling, how many days you keep pushing without results, how many hours you give to the craft when no one is watching. That's what builds greatness. That's what builds legacy. Hard work is the silent force behind every success story. It doesn't brag. It doesn't boast. It just delivers. So if you're not the fastest, be the most focused. If you're not the strongest, be the most consistent. Because in the end, success doesn't come to those who start strong. It comes to those who refuse to quit. Repetition builds resilience, not once, not twice, but over and over again. That's how strength is built, That's how confidence is earned. That's how champions are made, by doing it again, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. Even when no one is cheering, the spotlight doesn't shape you, the silent reps do, the lonely hours, the thankless days, the moments when you feel invisible but you keep showing up anyway. That's where the real growth happens. Most people quit when it gets quiet. They stop when the applause fades. They slow down when progress feels invisible, but not you. You know that resilience isn't built in the moments you feel strong. It's built in the moments you feel weak but choose to keep going. Repetition teaches you to endure, to trust the process, to master the fundamentals, to sharpen your edge so much that pressure can't crack you and setbacks can't shake you. Every time you show up, you're planting a seed, and even if no one sees it yet, even if the world isn't clapping, that seed is growing, brick by brick, layer by layer. You're becoming unshakable. You're learning to depend on your own drive, not the opinions of others. Not the temporary highs, not the external rewards. You train in silence so you can perform with power. You build in the dark so you can shine when it matters most. Repetition is your advantage. It's your discipline in disguise. It's what turns habits into identity and effort into excellence. So keep writing, keep lifting, keep learning, keep moving, even when no one says good job, even when the results are slow, even when doubt creeps in and tells you to stop. Because every rep makes you stronger, every rep makes you sharper, every rep makes you more resilient than the last, and that resilience, that's what will carry you when talent fades, when motivation fails, when life gets hard. So don't stop, don't slow down, keep building, even when no one's watching. The new mentality is relentless. It doesn't back down. It doesn't flinch in the face of pain. It doesn't beg for comfort or wait for the easy way out. It doesn't want easy, it wants elevation. It doesn't seek comfort, it seeks greatness. And greatness lives in the struggle, in the stretching, in the pressure that breaks the average but builds the relentless. This mindset is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the ones who want the reward without the responsibility. It's not for those who fold when life gets heavy. The new mentality thrives under fire. It welcomes resistance, because it knows growth only happens when pressure is present. While others complain, it works. While others rest, it rises. While others make excuses, it takes full ownership. It doesn't care about how things feel. It focuses on what must be done. Because feelings are fleeting, but purpose is permanent. The new mentality doesn't need to be understood. It doesn't need to be liked. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't check the temperature of the room before deciding to burn. It moves with mission. It thinks long term. It plays the infinite game where the goal is not applause but evolution. It understands that pain is not the enemy, stagnation is. It would rather suffer in growth than rot in comfort. It would rather fail with effort than succeed with mediocrity. The new mentality embraces the grind. It runs toward the challenge. It shows up tired. It shows up broken. It shows up anyway, because greatness doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're willing to sacrifice. This is about becoming something more. More focused, more resilient, more dangerous in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. So let the world chase comfort. Let them stay safe. Let them play small, but not you, not anymore. You carry the new mentality now. And that means you'll go where most won't. You'll endure what most can't. And you'll become what most never will.